What is going on, faithful? It's your boy Mike from Death of the Niners crew here with a Patreonian exclusive. Now, guys, listen. I have not been able to go live on Nothing But Niners nearly as much as I wanted to. This end of the year wrap-up has been a bit much on me, physically, emotionally, and it's not work-related. I mean, it's not football-related at all. It's all work. We've had inventory that we were preparing for a week before the end of the year, right? It was due at the end of the year, and then we found out we were being audited right after our inventory, and that concluded yesterday. So I've been wanting to go live. I've been wanting to overreact to certain things. The Niners had an amazing first half against the Lions, and then they had a Niner-esque finish to the game. And to me, that tells me all I need to know. That was the summary of the 49ers year. Right? Just couldn't finish a game. The Niners all season long have not been able to finish a game. So I'm going to get into all of that. But I want to thank the Patreon community for your patience, for your time. And it looks like it's the only way I'm going to be able to record a video anytime soon. Just schedules at the end of the year have been absolutely insane. Today is the 3rd. So I will try to get this uploaded today, actually. I am en route to work. I got about another, 35 minutes of driving left. So I'm going to hope that I can get this uploaded to you guys today. I figured, fuck it, let me talk. Let me just sit down and talk to my people, right? So, and maybe this will come out on YouTube a little bit later. But right now, this is a Patreon exclusive, okay? So, my thoughts on how just things have been going. And again, I didn't get a chance to overreact on anything, right? But that first half of the game, Brock Purdy looked incredible. He looked like he was dialed in. He was poised to do good things. Ricky Pearsall got involved early. Deebo Samuel got involved early. George Kittle got involved early. Even the run game, I mean, it was not the best run game. However, they didn't stray away from it. They kept pounding. And the balance seemed to be there. The Niners look good. Now, guys, I want to make it clear that I've been so busy, I have not rewatched the game. I have not seen post-game pressers. It is now Friday, so the game is long over. We are closer to the Cardinals game than we are from the Lions conclusion. And I haven't watched the game again, so if anything I say is wrong or inaccurate, just know that I haven't rewatched anything. This is all just off of raw memory. But they didn't stray away from the run game, and we seem to stay balanced. This whole new makeshift offensive line was looking pretty good at the beginning of the game, this first half of the game. We looked, in my opinion, really good. I was questioning at times, like, is this the best offensive line play we've seen from any unit this entire season? They were rotating in and out left tackles and things like that. I mean, it was just something that we had never seen before. And I was like, all right, cool. Gives us some things to look forward to in the future. Special teams, I don't even remember if special teams did anything bad. I know Deebo was making some early returns. We would score, they would score. We would score, they would score. Deebo was bringing the ball out early. I know later on that shit stopped. It seemed like everything just stopped all at the same time in the second half. Brock Purdy stopped being so decisive. Stopped being safe with the ball. And I do remember that Ricky Pearsall bailed him out a couple of times early in the first quarter, right? Like some throws that I thought weren't the best. Pearsall went out and made some phenomenal catches, one on the sideline, some good concentration catches. And it was so good to see some fight early from the team. It was good to see Pearsall get that touchdown, and Deebo, while they're on the sideline waiting for the decision, celebrating with him, like hyping him up, right? Like, that was so good to see. It was like inspiring. It was inspiring. And while I felt like Deebo was really, really involved, I do remember someone saying that his stats, like Deebo only had one catch the whole game, and I'm like, how can that be? Like, I remember being fired up about Deebo's contributions. So again, maybe it was rushing carries, maybe I'm just thinking about him as a return man. I don't know, but I felt like Deebo was doing something. I got to go back and watch, right? But then, like, the second half came. And it felt like down the end, we'd stop running the ball. I don't know how many times we ran the ball in our last couple of possessions. I don't remember. But it felt like we didn't do it at all. Right? Brock Purdy got flustered. Here come the interceptions. Right? Here come the other potential interceptions that we were fortunate enough to not have caught against us. Right? With no run game. Now the offensive line is starting to look bad because their defense is just pinning their ears back. Hey, they're just going to keep throwing the ball. We're going to keep sending extra men. We're going to keep stunting. We're going to keep, like it was just different. The defense started throwing different shit at us because they knew exactly what we were going to do. There was no threat of a 49ers offense. And there damn sure was no threat of the defense. So as the offense fell apart, Deebo stopped bringing the ball out. The run game went away, and the Niners lost the game. And we were always supposed to lose this game. I had the Niners losing by 14. I don't know what 14 or 17 is what I had picked the Niners to lose by. I don't know what the final score was. I think it was closer than that. I don't even recall. And I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I was exhausted. I got home just in time to see the conclusion, I think, of the first quarter, something like that. The game was on by the time I got home. I wasn't able to go live on Patreon. I shared a link with you guys where you could go and watch the game. Just didn't have me and Mike on there, me, Mike, and Tony or anything like that. So I was just extremely busy. It was not good. I was exhausted, and I watched the last couple of minutes of the game from bed. I don't even remember the ending of the game. I don't know who took the knees. I don't know which team had the final possession or any of that. I think I fell asleep at the end of the game, which has never happened to me since I've been covering the 49ers, doing nothing but Niners. This is the first game where I didn't watch the very, very end. This is the first game where I didn't watch or do a show afterwards, pressers, and all. Like, there was just no time. My body was shut down. My brain was shut down. But that's offense and special teams. Oh, while on special teams, Jake Moody, listen, we tried with you, bro. It's okay. The Niners put their best foot forward with Jake Moody. He's got to go. Now, I understand he's still on a rookie deal. Fine, you can bring him back, but bring in others to compete with him. And if he loses the competition, move the hell on. No shame, right? You tried, but you aren't good enough for what we need. And I am not a person that expects perfection. Homeboy missed extra points. He missed multiple field goals. You know what? That's right. I think the Niners ended up losing by like 7 or 8 or something like that, and he missed 7 points, 2 field goals and an extra point. I feel like I remember thinking that at some point. Or we were driving and we were down 2 scores and the field goal would have tied it, so maybe we lost by 10, but I remember thinking like those 7 points that he missed were critical for these last couple of drives. I do remember thinking that, so I don't know exactly what we ended up losing by, but I remember that being a thought. So, special teams, F. If I had to give it a grade, it's an F. There were no punt returns. I don't think they punted all night long. I don't even remember if the Niners did start punting at the end because we couldn't keep a drive going. That's true. But I don't think the Niners punted all first half. Again, it was a tale of 2 halves. Offense looked good. Ran the ball. Kick returns, right? Second half, offense looked bad. Stopped running the ball. No kickoff returns. And we couldn't make shit as far as field goals and extra points. So it was just bad. Dan Campbell had his offense doing what his offense is going to do. Our defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. Our defense is terrible. Our defense is absolutely terrible. Nick Sorensen should not be brought back. I don't care what anybody says. I listened to a KMBR interview of John Lynch. This was a couple of days after Christmas, and John Lynch is a real dude, right? John Lynch is a real dude. Like, don't tell me about your empty stats. Don't tell me Brock Purdy has the most air yards of any quarterback in the NFL and it's EPA and EPOA and blah. That shit don't mean shit when you can't score, when you can't finish, when you can't punch it in the red zone and all that. He said the same shit about the defense. This was from like December 27th or something like that, right? And he's on KNBR and he's like, yeah, man, I mean, like, at a certain point, our defense was ranked 3rd in yards, but who cares what that means if we can't get teams off the field on 3rd down? Who cares what that means if we can't force turnovers? Who gives a shit about those yards? All that means is that they had a good kick return because that special team sucks. All that means is that they had good field position because we went 3 and out on offense. Those empty-ass stats don't mean shit. And Nick Sorensen better not be patting himself on the back for saying, oh, well, at least I had the 3rd ranked yards on defense. And fuck you. No. Not good enough. Not good enough. Schneider, not good enough. I don't care if your punt return guy is on or above average in yards per return. I don't care if your kick return guy is on or above average. No, fuck you. Not good enough. Those guys should not be brought back. I don't care if Nick Bosa likes Sorensen. I don't give a shit. And what are you supposed to go out there and say, oh, yeah, fuck him? No. What is he supposed to say? Of course you're supposed to say, yeah, bring him back, fine, whatever. No. Where are the criticisms? Where are the critiques? No. Fuck that. This defense does not look good. Oh, well, Mike the injuries. I don't care. I don't care. We are doing things fundamentally wrong. We are taking bad angles. We are missing tackles. Every time they ran the ball, first and second contact didn't make a difference. It did not make a difference. And again, this is a summary of the 49ers season. Bad angles, missed tackles. Talanoa Hufanga went from somebody when he first came back recently, or when he 3rd came back, I should say, right? When he recently made his return to the team, like, man, that communication in the secondary, man, that shit felt good. Mike, it was the fucking Bears. Who are you kidding? I was so sick of watching Talanoa Hufanga in this game. I was so tired of watching him take bad angles, over pursue, being a safety that didn't know he was a safety and thought he was a fucking linebacker. I was over it. This defense is bad. It's a problem. I don't want to see him anymore. No one knows how to set the fucking edge in this defense anymore. We play wide 9. What? They don't know how to set the edge. They don't know how to contain. Like, it's the angles are horrific. They take horrific angles. We have to lead the league in missed tackles. We have to. And you know why? Because we take bad angles. I don't think that the team and the players on defense forgot how to tackle. No, they didn't forget how to tackle. They take bad angles so they can't tackle. Everything is an arm grab. We're reaching out instead of squaring up. We're not getting low and lifted. We're extending and stretching. That's angles. Pursuit angles. We have lost the fucking fundamentals of defense. It's not good. It's time to shake shit up. I want some old, stanky ass, belching veteran defensive coordinator with a pot belly and beer breath. I want some guy who was teaching motherfuckers like Mike Singletary to hit. That's what I want. I want somebody who's going to go back and teach the tackling fundamentals. I don't care for innovative, thought-provoking, fuck all that shit. The more you depend on technology, the less I want you for my position. Heart monitors and shit like that. Teach these motherfuckers to go out there and hit. Now I'm getting upset. I'm cursing a lot. I don't want to see it, though. I don't want to see it. The defense was bad from start to finish. We couldn't stop a nosebleed with high-flow tampons, bro. We couldn't. There was absolutely nothing we could do. There was a play they had, I swear, it was like 2nd and 20 something. And I'm like, oh man, this is finally going to be a good drive for the Niners. It was a big sack on Jared Goff. I'm like, yeah, man, here we go. This should be a 3 and out. And on second down, we let him pick up 12 yards. And I was like, all right, it's still third and more than 10. Like, we got him. Nope. And it wasn't a penalty either. We just let him get the fucking yards. We let him get it. A synopsis of the entire 49ers year. And I can guarantee you, Kyle and the defensive players and all went to the point, well, we got to be better on third downs. Well, we got to get them off the field when we have the opportunity. We gotta come down with the ball when there's tip passes. We've been hearing the same shit all year. And here we are heading into the last game of the season, and we're hearing the same shit we've heard all year. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. They gotta make some changes. And it's asinine. It is insane. It is unfathomable for us to think that bringing the same coaching staff back next season will warrant better results. I'm not talking about Kyle. But these position coaches, these coordinators, gotta freaking change. They've gotta change. And if they don't, we are in big, big trouble. Big doo-doo. Big doo-doo. And I've heard people saying, well, Kyle has to continually promote from within, like, because we're always in the playoffs. And we're always, going so deep into the season that we don't have a chance to go out there and interview any of the good coordinators or any of the other good position coaches that might be available. And then, well, guess what? We don't have that excuse now. We have been out of the playoffs for the last 4 weeks. I hope Kyle's been making some calls. I hope they've been interviewing some people. I hope they have taken some time to get their minds right. I don't care about self-reflection right now. I want reflections on those around you, Kyle. We'll get back to Kyle another time. He's not going anywhere. We got all off season to worry about Kyle. Right now, they need to be worried about the draft and the staff. Right now, they need to be worried about who is going to replace these bum coaches and coordinators on my roster. That's what the right now concern needs to be. There is just no way that we can go into the 2025 season thinking, hey, everything is okay, we just need to get healthy. The ability wasn't the issue or the underlying feature for the downfall of the 49ers this year. I think when Christian McCaffrey was out, we were still able to run the ball successfully. I think when Mason went down, we were still able to run the ball successfully when we stuck with it. When we stuck with it. But all season long, high passes from Brock Purdy, off-target passes from Brock Purdy, missed tackles by the defense. At least in the beginning, the first 3 or 4 games, you had Fred Warner forcing some turnovers, punching the ball out, where it made it kind of cover up some of the woes in the defense. Kind of hid some of those major concerns for the defense, right? Kind of almost made you forget or think maybe the defense isn't as bad, right? Like maybe if they just do this right, we'll get better. Those same problems from week 1, and I know we won, those same problems from week 1 and week 2 reared their ugly heads all season long. We've seen 16 games of bad defense. And I want people to make it known that they're not happy with Sorensen. This has nothing to do with Sorensen the man. I don't care about that stuff. Told y'all I never want to sit around and see somebody get fired. He needs to be fired. He needs to not be a San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator. I saw on X the other day when I was at work where Sorensen or Kyle said that he believes he'll learn and be better for this next season. That's cool. Be better on another roster. Be better on another team. Don't be better here. Don't waste our time. because better Sorensen still isn't the standard of the 49ers. This is not how we play. And the problems happen too consistently for me to blame individual player performance. See, this is where I see things different from some other content creators. If every player that gets plugged into the defense makes the same exact errors and mistakes, it's coaching. Because Winters is not the same as Flanagan Fowles, it's not the same as Bethune, it's not the same as Warner, it's not the same as Greenlaw. But everybody is making those same mistakes. That's scheme. That's coaching. Hufunga is not the same as Odom, is not the same as Brown, is not the same as Green, is not the same as Mustafa. They're all making the same mistakes. That's coaching. That's coaching. When I see Charvarius Ward get beat deep, that's Ward. It was a one-on-one. That's Ward. When I see Green give up a play on the right side of the field where it looked like they were in zone coverage in the goal line, goal-to-go situation, and you're giving your guy 40 yards of cushion, and it's a walk-in touchdown. That's scheme and player. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? It's still your guy. That's still your responsibility. I can identify when it's player versus scheme and a combo of the two. The scheme hasn't been good. Whatever they're teaching hasn't been good. It's like, all right, well, we're just going to go in here and do this. Work on some fucking fundamentals. Get back to the basics, please. We need to shake it up. We absolutely have to shake it up. The season is over, guys. We got one more game. I'm heading out to Arizona in about 24 hours. I'll be at the airport. In about 24 hours, I'll be at the airport. Or from the time of this recording. By the time you guys see this, probably about 20 hours if you're watching on Patreon. Maybe 12 hours if you're watching on YouTube. If I release this on YouTube, I don't know. But this should be uploaded to Patreon in a few. I'll be at the airport 24 hours from now with my mom, with my daughter, celebrating those two beautiful ladies' birthdays. And we're looking to have a good time, right? But that doesn't mean that I didn't have a good time this year with football. I got a very different experience. I got to watch the last couple of weeks of football with zero expectations. So I was allowed to be excited about a big play. And I was allowed to be upset about a bad play. And not worry about whether or not my team can sneak into the playoffs. And I'd have to worry about, well, this team wins and that team wins. No, I got to change the focus solely on the 49ers. Not care about seeding, standing positions, and really evaluate some of these guys. Who the heck is heck? And why haven't we seen more of it? Huh? I'm excited to see the offensive line against the Cardinals one more time. I don't know what's going to be. I know what's not going to be. But I want to see some more of it. It was fun. It was exciting. It was exhilarating. I'll take that. Nervous watching? Absolutely. But you can't tell me that you guys weren't happy for George Kittle and Ricky Pearsall in this last game. Pearsall finally gets over 100 yards, finally gets into the end zone, right? It's cool. It's good to see those guys perform well individually. I've never seen George Kittle be more of a leader than what I've seen this year, and I absolutely love it. And I don't think there's been anybody harder on George Kittle than me. And I absolutely love seeing the leader that George Kittle became this season. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful to see. Watching him encouraging Jake Moody and kickers, watching him encourage wide receivers and quarterbacks and running backs, offensive linemen. Hell, I've even seen George Kittle on the sidelines talking to defensive players. Absolutely beautiful to see. I've seen George Kittle be open, honest, and vulnerable with the media, at the podium, all that goofy shit that I told you I couldn't stand about him, some of it I see is personality, not just a show. Because even when the Niners are on losing streaks, you can still hear and see the goofiness. But he's sincere. He's sincere. And when he's not happy, he's gonna let it be known. George Kittle, I appreciate you this year. I have a newfound appreciation for George Kittle. I'm over buying players' jerseys, but if I was in the market for a player jersey, it would be George Kittle. I got one already, but if I was in the market for a player jersey, it would be George Kittle. Very happy that he's on my favorite football team. Listen, I'm going to wrap this thing up here, guys. I want to thank you all for watching, man. The season is the season. Leave in the comments below your reflection, your overall thoughts on the season, and what changes you're looking forward to in the offseason. Oh, wait. Before I go, give me 2 minutes. I completely stand on Chris Kocurek being overrated. Does that mean he's a bad defensive line coach? No, I'm not saying that at all. But I think we value him a little more than we should. I don't think that moving on from Chris Kocurek would be the worst thing for the 49ers. Will they do it? I don't think so. I don't. But I wouldn't be upset if they did. I feel like the defensive line just doesn't get the production it's supposed to. I feel like the defensive line fails us in the run game more than they should. I feel like the defensive line lacks productivity. Period. Nick Bosa had a solid game, but so there's at least 3 other linemen on the field with Bosa when he's out there. We still, with Nick Bosa on the field, can't sustain the edge. It's just bad. I think Chris Kocurek has made himself expendable. But on the flip side, if you guys watch this game, at least the first half, first 3 quarters, and if you could tell me honestly, without looking it up, that you knew who our offensive linemen were outside of Cooney, and you could tell me that you knew those guys were going to play the way that they performed, I would tell you you're a liar. It's one thing to be hopeful, but those guys played damn well those first 3 quarters. They played damn well those first 3 quarters. And I will say this, and I've been saying it, Chris Forrester is making diamonds out of doo-doo. He is making diamonds out of doo-doo. And he deserves a chance with some real quality prospects. If there's any position group that I want to see the 49ers invest in early and heavily, because I believe we will see immediate results, it is the offensive line. I am standing on and doubling down, tripling down in my belief in Chris Forrester being the most underrated coach on this team. This guy just had an offensive line that nobody had ever seen or heard of before. We signed guys off the streets, off of other teams' practice squads, guys who were playing in the CFL or USFXL, ABCDEF, GFL, and they were starting and performing well and holding up against an aggressive Lions defense. Now, the Lions defense ain't all that. So, grain of salt. The same exact way I said, oh man, look at what we did. Mike, it was just the Bears, right? When I was complimenting our defense and our secondary, right? It was just the Bears. Let me be mindful of what I'm saying here. This Lions defense is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But when I watch the individual guys on the offensive line, I felt like they performed well. I felt like they looked good, more than they looked bad. Now, there were times, oh man, there were times where you could tell they just hadn't played together. You could tell they just weren't a cohesive unit. I think that's okay. When you got 4 out of 5 guys playing somewhere for the first time, I think that's all right. I think that's okay. To play better than you did worse, it's not bad. Against a team that was on a mission to embarrass you, it's not bad. Chris Forrester, he deserves some higher drafted prospects, some priority free agents, and all that good shit. You know what I'm saying? Invest, 49ers. Y'all are about to spend all this money on Brock Purdy. You got to go crazy in the draft. Brock Purdy's going to get this bag. I know it. You all know it. He's going to get paid. You got to keep him upright, buy him some time, let him read the field better, let him not get happy feet, and let that man go out there and perform the way he's supposed to perform. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts, my musings, Mike's musings while I'm riding to work. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate and love you guys. Prepare for glory, anticipate pain, but always remain faithful. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.